Okay. So first of all, I would start by explaining the main difference or what's gonna change. As you guys might have already been admitted to the country through your F-1 visa or maybe after changing your status. So if you like check your I-94 travel history or your approval notice, you would see that you were admitted until DS or duration of status, which means that you are allowed to remain in the United States legally as long as you maintain a full course load of study and you don't do any violation to your status. Okay. So, however, the new rule is gonna change this, and starting September 15th, 2026, which is the effective day of the rule, the students will be admitted until a fixed day. So your stay will have an end date if you change your status or you enter the country on or after the effective date, September 15th, 2026. And the duration of your stay will be based on the duration of your program. For example, if your I-20, if your I-20 is issued for 4-year bachelor degree, then you will be admitted for 4 years. If your I-20 is issued for 2-year masters or 3-year masters, then the duration of your stay will be the same for 2 or 3 years. However, there will also be a cap for the end of your stay, which means that your stay will be capped with 4 years only. So for those whose I-20 was issued for 5 years, 6 years, for example, in some cases of like PhD or bachelor students, then these students will also be admitted until 4 years only. The second thing is changing is the grace periods. As you guys might be aware that you are granted 60-day grace period starting on the day of the end, on the same day of the program end date shown or reflected on your I-20 form. So this is 60-day grace periods are these 60 days are granted so you guys, you can, decide whether to leave the country and start packing up and leave the country, or maybe if you want to transfer out or start a new program, or maybe to apply for USCIS to obtain a new status. So this 60-day grace period, this 60-day grace period will be shortened and it will be 30 days. So for any student bring a new restriction regarding the first year of study for undergrad or non-degree program students. So as you guys know, right now, according to the current policy, both non-degree students and undergraduate students are able to change their major, transfer to another school, or change the education level at any time. However, after September 15th, 2026, and the new rule becomes effective, these students won't be able to change anything to either their major or change the schools or change even the education level during the first year of their program. So you guys need to take a look at your I-20 form and be aware that you won't be able to do any changes to your academic objective for the entire first year of a program. As for the graduate students or PhD students, these students will be locked in their degree programs, which means both master's and PhD students won't be able to change their major throughout the entire duration of their program, okay? And as for the transfer, also both PhD and master's students are ineligible to transfer from a school to another. It means these students will be locked with the same school and with the same degree level and same program, okay? They won't be able to make any changes. They either complete their programs or they just, if they decide not to complete the program with this school, they can simply just leave the country. And one more thing is going to affect all the students in the US. Changing education level is going to be strictly restricted, which means students cannot repeat or go to the same education level, or they cannot downgrade, which means for master's students, for example, if they complete their master's degree, they won't be able to enroll in another master's program. Or bachelor students, they cannot take or do another bachelor's program. They can only go up to a higher education level, like from associate to bachelor, from bachelor to master's, master to PhD, and so on. So repeating the same education level won't be available, and downgrading to a lower education level won't be available too. Here I'm giving different scenarios for ESL student. If the student is enrolled or has been enrolled in English school for a year and a half, and they want to extend their studies for one additional year, then according to the new rule, this student won't be able to study an English language program for more than 24 aggregated cap. So for this student, they either just extend their program for half a year or depart the US, or they have to go into a higher education level, like a bachelor or master's. Another example for bachelor students, if a first-year student want to change their school or transfer to a different school in their second semester, then this student have to stick with the same school and the same program for the first year of their program. Okay, so what they can do is that they complete until they complete the first year first, and then they might transfer out to a different school. As for masters, for example, a student completed their master's degree and they want to pursue a second master's degree. These students are prohibited from changing program or schools for the same level, like master's to master's. Then for this student, they can either start like a PhD program or simply depart the US. However, you guys need to know that your I-20 will end, or I'm sorry, your stay will end one day. So how to know when is the end date of your stay? You have to check the end date of your Form I-20 and add 60-day grace period. So by the end of the 60-day grace period, you will be officially out of status and your stay will end, even though your I-94 travel history might keep showing the DS as the duration of a stay. However, you have to be aware that at the end of the your grace period, you will be you will be accruing illegal presence in the US. And for those who are on active OPT or STEM OPT, the same thing for you guys. You have to add the 60-day grace period to the end date of your AID card and to figure out like when is the end date of your stay. Okay, so you guys remember, you will be keeping the 60-day grace period. However, your stay is gonna end by the end of the 60-day grace period. And the same restriction related to the transfer and like to transfer from another school to another school, or like start a second master, it will also apply to you starting September 15th, 2026. So technically, as you guys know, okay, sorry. So since you're gonna keep the 60-day grace period, however, I would like to highlight one thing, that there is gonna be a travel trap for you guys. Yes, you're gonna be allowed to stay in the US right now, and you're gonna keep the 60-day grace period. However, for those who leave the country and re-enter on or after September 15th, then they will be admitted until a certain date, and their grace period will be shortened to 30-day only, okay? So please be aware of this before making any travel plans. If you leave and enter before the effective date, you're good. You're gonna still be admitted and you're gonna keep the 60-day grace period. But if you re-enter the country on or after September 15, then you will be subject, or you will get admitted until a certain date, and the grace period will be shortened to 30 days only. Okay, so what's gonna happen for those who need to stay in the US beyond their authorized stay? So for those students, they will have to file Form I-539, which is the extension of a stay application with USCIS before the authorized stay expires. Okay, and whether they are like studying or doing OPT, then they have to continue maintaining F-1 status by either studying or working if you are in OPT or STEM OPT period. So when these students, or what type of cases where students would need to file the extension of a stay with USCIS? For example, if a student need additional time to complete their academic program beyond the admission until date. Okay, so you guys have to check the end date of your Form I-20 and also check the remaining credits. Okay, if you see that you won't be able to make it, you won't be able to graduate or to take all of the remaining courses or credits by the end date of your I-20, then and the rule becomes effective, then you will have to request USCIS to extend your stay so you can, enroll in the remaining credits beyond the admit until date. Or a different case, if the students plan to apply for OPT or STEM OPT after their authorized stay, they will also need to apply for the extension of a stay before their stay expires. Or simply the students like complete their degree and they want to go to a higher education level program, then they will also have to submit an extension of a stay application to request an extension of a stay so they can start and complete the new program. Here, there's like a comparison of the current and the new system. So as of now, the DSO was simply processing all the extensions through CVIS system. The student was just, submitting like financial document to show they are capable to cover the tuition and living expenses of the for the extension period. And the DSO simply process the extension and provide the students with their I-20 form, and the students are good to go after that. However, according to the new system, the students will have to file the, as I said, Form I-539, which involves the filing fee on the effective day, September 15th, 2026, and it will end on March 15th, 2027. So there's like a 6-month window where the students can simply completing or submitting their OPT application without any issue. The same process, same application and everything, okay? Which means that if you apply for STEM or OPT before March 15th, 2027, you just have to only file for the employment authorization application, which is Form I-765. However, for any students files their OPT or STEM OPT on or after March 15th, 2027, then they will be required to submit both Form I-539 and Form I-765. Okay, and both applications have to be approved so students can be allowed to participate in OPT or STEM. Okay, however, these students have to know that there's also travel risk for them, which says if you guys leave the country before applying for STEM, OPT or OPT, and you enter the country after the effective date, September 15, 2026, then you will have to file both forms. You have to file Form I-539 to request the extension and Form I-765 to request the employment authorization, okay? Remember, this is going to involve both fees, both application to be completed, and if you guys can simply avoid leaving the country and re-entering, it's going to be better for you guys. However, if you file for your OPT already, if you have already filed for your OPT is pending and you leave the country and re-enter, then you don't have to apply for the extension of a stay. Okay, yeah, so here we're going to talk about what happens or what's going to change for those who file for their OPT or STEM on or after March 15th, 2027. There will be dual filing, the dual filing will be required. So outside of the transition period, you guys will have to file Form I-765, as I said, and you will have also to request the extension. You have to file Form I-539 to request the extensions, and both of them must be approved so you guys can start working. There will also be dual filing fees for both applications. And once you guys file for the extension of a stay on timely manner, then you will be allowed to continue working if you are in OPT or to continue studying for 240 days while your application is pending. Important transition dates. As I said, this rule, or maybe I haven't mentioned this, my bad. The rule was published last Friday, July 17th, 2026. It's going to be effective on September 15th, 2026. So all the students will be affected by this new rule by September 15th, 2026. And the end of the transition period for OPT and STEM students will be March 15, 2027. And for them, the max transition limit will be September 15th, 2023 to 2030, which they hope that the DS status
you can do on campus or professional hybrid programs that you just need to come for a weekend during the semester. And we are also offering dual degree options for the ones that instead of doing one master, want to do two simultaneously masters. So you will get the possibilities to do CPT, OPT, and of course, build your professional experience here. And then you will be able to do a master OPT in case that you haven't done. So in case that you already complete your master, you can start another master before, as I've mentioned, before September 15. So our next intake starts in August 24. So you're on time if you think that this is the best option for you, so you can start another master and take the possibility to extend your I-20 in case that you want to do that. And also, if you are already complete a master and you already complete a OPT master, you will be able to do a day one CPT. You can go to the next slide. So what are you already know BAU, so you already know that we are accredited, how the classes are, how our professor take action and take individual attention on you, how are our teachers. Now we have more experienced professors on the fields. Our international community is always growing. We have the option hybrid and dual degree option for you. We have multiple academic pathways, the support that academic team, student services, and all our staff is willing to give you, and just here in your university. So here is where you are right now. So maybe you're on the way, but you have the possibility to take stability right now. Just stay away of the extension that you may need to do for extending your I-20 or for your next step here. So if you take decision now, you will get long-term success and you'll get the possibility to have another degree and stay on the way on to get your goals. So here, just a recap of our programs. We offer business administration for bachelor with 3 concentrations, Bachelor of Political Science and International Relations, IT, and software engineering for all those bachelors. And master, we offer MBA, Big Data Analytics, Cybersecurity, Artificial Intelligence, Cloud Computing, Software Engineering, Data Science, and Public Policy, and all dual degree track options. So I mentioned before that we also offer our professional hybrid path for master students. So you just need to come for a weekend during the semester. The rest of the coursework is online, can be synchronized, asynchronized, or hybrid. And you need to take 3 intakes per year, fall, spring, and summer, and you will be able to enroll to this possibility for your career. So why continue to BAU? If you were mentor a student, if you are BAU alumni, if you are transferring from other school, so we have financial benefits for you, exclusive tuition assistance for you, and you also can get the possibility to have 5% of discount if you pay upfront. Academics opportunities, you already know who and how we are from my side. Thanks for inviting me to this session today.
Thank you so much, Adriana. So, guys, before we take your questions, if you have any, we let the admissions, we asked them like to join us because we were receiving a lot of inquiries about our students who are considering doing a second master. So if you are considering or thinking about doing a second master, as I said, the new rule is gonna prohibit this. So if you wanna do it now, please, you need to act very fast. If you start or you apply and get your I-20 form updated before the effective date, you're good and you will be allowed to complete your second master's degree. But once the rule becomes effective, this won't be available. This option won't be available, okay? So guys, if you have any question, could you raise your hand? And we have already some questions in the in the Q&A box. So let's answer some of these questions or all of them. We have a question says, hello, I am on MBA and data analytics course. My I-20 is going to finish on May 23rd, 2027. So I should course 3 more semester because I didn't take any summer semesters. So for your case, please check the end date of your I-20. And for all of our active students who haven't graduated yet, please check the end date of your I-20 form, the exact date, and check the numbers of the remaining credits. If you think that you will not graduate or complete all the remaining credits by the end date, please reach out to me to request an extension, okay? I have already emailed the students who are expected to graduate in the upcoming 3 semesters. So to all of you, please check that and let me know, because if you guys request the extension before September 15th, 2026, I will simply extend your I-20 form. But if you do request the extension beyond September 15th, 2026, then you will have to go through the new extension process. You will have to apply for USCIS. There's a second question says, I'm currently enrolled at BAU as a master's student. I transferred to schools on January of this year from another school where he completed like a master's program too. I'm a bit confused how this new rule applies to us current students who are already in similar situation. It wasn't clear for me if this new rule affects current students. So no, I have already mentioned the current student, they will be allowed to complete their degrees. So if you already have started your master's degree, you're good. They will let you complete your degree, whatever program you are doing, you will be allowed to complete it. However, in the future, if you try like to do a third master's, then you won't be allowed. Okay, there's a question says also what will it happen with my OPT when I have finished my last semester in fall 2027? As we said, OPT application will still be permitted. The students are gonna be allowed to apply for OPT after they complete their degree. However, if you're gonna be filing your OPT application after the end of the 6-month transition period, which is March 15th, as we have mentioned already, then you guys have to file for both OPT and extension of a stay application. So yes, you will still be able to apply for OPT, but you will have to submit 2 applications instead of 1. One for the OPT, like the employment authorization, and the second for the extension of a stay. We have a question from Ankit says, hello, what about day 1 CBT students, please? So if you are already a current student, the rule is not gonna affect you or affect your CBT at all, okay? So if you have already started your program or master's, or you are 90 days before 90 days before the end of their program. Okay, so you need to figure, you don't need to look at the end date of your I-20 here. You need to check the end date, the actual end date of your final semester, and you will have to file your OPT 90 days before that. We will be hosting OPT webinar soon after our fall semester start. Okay, we have another question from Murad. Says, I am now on my initial OPT and it will end November 2027. After that, I need to continue PhD. Do I need to submit I-539 or what will be the process for me? Yes, Murad. So Murad, you said your OPT ending on in November 2027. So you need to see the exact date and then add 60-day grace period to it. So by the end of the grace period, this is going to be, you will be out of, like you will be illegal here. So before your grace period ends, if you want to do a PhD, you have to act very quickly. You have to get, to apply, to obtain your admission letter, your updated I-20 form, and file for the extension with USCIS. Okay, we have a question from Uchuku. She says, does the policy allow us to study for a PhD instead of another master's? I saw that you cannot study at the same level or lower. What if we decide to study higher? Yes, Uchuku, you are allowed to proceed or to start a program at a higher education level. So you completed master's. After September 15th, you were only allowed to start a PhD program. Okay, but if you are considering doing a second master, are, if there's like, let's say your semester or your final semester is gonna be fall 2026. So technically December 11th, 2026 is gonna be the end date of your program. If your I-20 ending even a few days before the actual end date of your final semester, you are required to request extension. It's better that you guys do it before September 15th, so you guys don't have to file for the extension of a stay. The next question says, my I-20 expires August 2027, but I will finish my course in May 2027. If I want to continue at BAU to complete master's, will that negatively affects me? Okay, no, you're fine, you're good. So that's okay. Once, what you're gonna do is that you're gonna complete your program or your bachelor degree May next year. Okay. If you don't want to do OPT or anything, you can simply apply for the master's at VAU. You get the admission letter, and we're gonna update your form I-20. And before your grace period ends, you will have to file extension of a stay with USCIS. And once you file it, you will have 240 days to study without issues. Okay, so you may be allowed to start your program, your master's program, while your extension application is pending. Okay, another question from Kanij. My STEM OPT will finish at 2028. After my STEM, I want to do PhD. It should be safe. Yeah, no problem. Since you completed master's and you're gonna do your OPT and the STEM OPT afterward, yeah, you will be allowed to apply for PhD and request extension of a stay based on your PhD program. What's the best advice for someone who has completed their first OPT and waiting for STEM OPT? There's no piece of advice for you guys. You're fine. You have already applied for the STEM extension before the new rule becomes effective or before the OPT STEM transition period ends. So there's nothing that you can do right now. But remember, if you leave the country and re-enter after September 15th, you will get only 30-day grace period after the end of your STEM OPT, if approved, of course. in the future, if you decide to go from ESL to do like a to do a PhD, they're gonna review your academic history, and if they see that you were doing masters and then you went to ESL school, I don't think this is gonna look good in your application, in your extension of a stay application. All right. However, regarding the duration or how many years of I-20 you will get, please contact the DSO at the English schools that you're gonna enroll. OPT expires. So you don't have to do anything. You have just to wait. If you wish to, you can reach out to USCIS to inquire why they are taking too long. I don't believe it's helpful. Feel free also to do the processing, the premium processing fee. You can pay it. You can submit the application for the premium processing, pay the around $1,700, and this is gonna expedite the adjudication of your case. Okay, the next, so we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have the last 7 questions for now. A student says, I completed master's and recently STEM OPT completed and transferred service to ESL. Oh, I have already said you guys have to contact your new the DSO and your new school in the ESL, okay? I cannot, guys, give answers about I-20s or programs or policies from different schools. Okay, Nathan. Current F-1 status and current F-1 status, what changes should I be aware of? If I decide to pursue a PhD after completing my master, what is the process toward transferring my service record to another school? When should I begin applying? Okay, when you should apply for your PhD? This is something that you need to figure out, okay? You have to figure it out. You need to, I don't know, try to look up for PhD programs to see when you can apply and when is the start date. Regarding the transfer process, you simply apply, you get admission letter from your school to do a PhD. You share it with me. You share with me also the school service code I will release or transfer your service record to the school. Would that affect my OPT eligibility? Yes, of course. You can either do OPT or study. You cannot be doing PhD and doing OPT at the same time. So you either apply for PhD right after the graduation, start your PhD, or you do OPT first, and after or before your OPT ends, you start applying for PhD, and then you start the PhD, and you have to file, remember, the extension of a stay application. Okay, the last 4 questions. I will apply for STEM extension in December after initial OPT. During application pending for decision, is it like same as 6 months automatic extension? So I'm sorry, I have to read the question one more time. I will apply for STEM extension in December after initial OPT. Oh yeah. So if you're gonna, what you're saying that you have like an active OPT now, and maybe your OPT is gonna end after the rule becomes effective after September 15th, and then you wanna do or request the STEM extension. So if you're gonna file for your STEM extension before March 15th, you just apply for an application. But if you leave the country and re-enter and apply for STEM, or you apply for STEM after March, you have to submit 2 applications, one for the STEM and one for the extension of the stay. Okay, so Nathan is saying I'm expected to complete my bachelor degree this December. and I only have 5 credits left remaining to finish my program. I'm planning to continue my education, but yeah, no problem. Complete your program, and after that, you will get a chance to apply for a master's. But remember, you will also apply for the extension of stay with USCIS. A question says, my STEM ended July 20th, 2026, and they got, oh, we have already answered this question. A student saying, after transferring my CVs to a new school, we have to file any US. Yeah, if you're gonna be transferring and getting your I-20 from the new school after September 15th, 2026, and if your I-20 or the grace period is approaching soon, then yeah, you will have to file the extension of a stay application with USCIS. And the last question, my OPT will finish on 12 March 2026. Can I visit Europe after September? Kanija, I have already answered your question. You're saying that your OPT ended last year, March 12th, 2026. Your OPT has expired and you have a pending STEM, right? I think it's not recommended that you travel if your STEM is approved and your OPT has ended. It's not recommended that you leave the country, but you can still leave the country. If your OPT is ending next year, then and you leave the country and you enter after September 15th, then you will be subject to be admitted according to the new rule, and your I-94 is gonna have an end date, and the end date of your OPT is gonna be 30 days beyond the March whatever 13th, I think 2027. Thank you everyone for attending this webinar today. It was a brutal one, but I hope that you guys like get informed and understood all the changes happening soon. If you have any question, please reach out to me at either dso@bau.edu or abdullah@bau.edu. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great day. Bye.